Kevin O'Leary has been one of the investors interested in owning TikTok. Mr. Wonderful joins me from Toronto. Kevin, good to see you, sir. Same question to you. I mean, do you understand where we are tonight with TikTok? Who is likely to be the next owners of the American assets?
Yes, well, first of all, it's a very, very valuable network. It's a huge prize. Generates somewhere between 12 and 15 billion a year in revenue. Over 7 million businesses are on it profitably, using it for customer acquisition. And it's one of the fastest growing media networks. And so congratulations to Oracle, who's leading the deal with Andreessen and Silver Lake. They seem to be the winner. There's many, many willing buyers. Obviously, I'm one of them. But there's a huge challenge ahead. And when this thing was back in November and December, it was not thought that the executive orders that would extend the law. Remember, the law was passed to turn it dark as it was going to be spyware, and it was finally by the Supreme Court designated as that. Now we have a situation where there's a huge problem in closing this. The China hawks that wrote the code, the Congress and the Supreme Court, they need to understand what the deal is about the algorithm. I think the deal itself can happen, but the algorithm has been deemed spyware. So what we're hearing, and we don't know with certainty, but what Xi wants is he'd like to lease the code. He'd like to get a royalty for it on a monthly basis. That's probably not going to stand mustard with the China hawks. Senator Cotton, Rubio, and others, many, many others. Scott, I mean, they're not going to go for that. And so you're in a negotiation to try and figure out how you can make them complacent with that code. So there's two options. And I know this because back in November, December, January, I sat in front of them negotiating myself in terms of what do we have to do to make you happy that this is not spyware. And they said, well, why don't you bring a deal and tell me what it's going to look like? And here's this deal coming now. But what I learned, and this is tough, the staffers of those lawmakers are really good. It's going to be, they're really, really good. And you can't pull the wool over their eyes. And so...
But Kevin, let me just interrupt you on that. But let me throw something back at you. If the big boss wants the deal done, do those China hawks at least muzzle their beaks for a while and not go as aggressively? Because you're right, that it is the algorithm and the software as spyware that has to be amended. I mean, never mind the ownership. You don't want everything being sent back to Beijing. But if Trump wants this deal done, what then, Kevin?
Not going to happen that way because there's a huge hammer you haven't taken into consideration. $870 billion fine if you're not compliant with the law. It's the most unique deal in history. $172 million times $5,000 every day you're not compliant. So there's a huge compromise here. The Speaker of the House will be involved. A lot of the lawmakers, J.D. Vance's office, which has been negotiating this deal. There's a lot of people that have to come together because the buyers won't close if they're exposed to the $800+ billion fine. And so the China hawks have the leverage. But of course, there's a compromise. Let me explain in just layman terms the two options. Number one is the concept calling fork the code. It's called fork the code. What happens is she hands over a copy of the code, and then the U.S. code designers strip out the spyware and go in front of the DOD or whatever the oversight committee is and prove to them that the spyware has been removed. That's the better option because you're not messing with the algorithm that much. The other option is you rewrite it using AI from scratch. That's a little riskier, but that may be what you have to do. Either way, the deal's going to get done. If I were sitting there, I'd try and sell to the China hawks the idea that you can put what's called a dashboard over the servers that are sitting in Texas and Virginia, that looks at every IP address that a packet goes to. And as long as you can prove to them that not a single packet goes to Beijing, I think you can make peace with them. But again, having done this myself, these staffers are sharp as hell. They're going to be a tough sell.
I'm fascinated by your obvious admiration, bordering on wonderment at these people, because this is what these staffers do, isn't it? They know every nook and cranny. They live, breathe, and sleep this stuff, don't they?
Well, everybody thinks you can just walk in at these senators or neophytes on tech. Wrong. You're very wrong, because they bolster into their staff some incredibly talented people in their late 20s, early 30s. I couldn't believe the talent. I mean, it was, and I got to tell you,
yeah,
it's going to be a really interesting narrative, a very interesting narrative. I would guess that there's 5 leads on the China hawk. Certainly Senator Cotton, certainly Rubio. I mean, definitely they're going to be there. Rick Scott in Florida. These guys are smart.
I'm grateful to you, sir. Have a good weekend, and thank you for taking time to talk to me tonight. Thank you.